Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This week I carve a small dog named Sydney. Sydney was a beloved pet and she lost her battle with cancer. She also lost an eye because of it. That left her with a very unique face. The family reached out to me and I could tell just by the tone of her voice that she was really missing this dog, and I felt like I needed to knock it out of the park for her. My name is Jeff Moore. I'm the Northwoods Carver, and thanks for seeing what I saw. Here we are, just already in progress, actually. I had been toiling with a few of my thoughts on what I would do as far as lamination. Did I want to just, take a few pieces and find some good stuff and put it together? And that's kind of what I ended up doing. I knew this was going to go on a base. I actually created a whole section of base for this that looked like a hardwood floor that Sydney would be sitting on. And they opted not to take it. So this was just a freestanding dog in the end. So here I am putting the nose in, just bird dogging, feeling it out. I had been carving on this thing for a few days, just a little bit here, a little bit there, and you can see where I'm at there. So this is a tricky business because I already kind of knew how I wanted to paint it, and I knew the textures that I wanted, but I'm not a dog carver per se, so I just needed to nail, in my own mind, I just needed to nail a few aspects of the dog, get the basic size down. Apparently, the dog was very small, smaller than actually the carving. I had the height right, but basically, it was a mix, I guess. It was a mix of different types of dogs, and I think it was Beagle and Chihuahua or something. I don't know, but she sure did love that dog. As you can see in the background. Yeah. That's all I got to say about that. Anybody that's ever lost a dog that was close to them, like raised it from a puppy and lived its entire life right next to you, it's hard not to feel, somewhat, or in my case, extremely, what's a good word? Empathetic is a good word. I've had several amazing dogs that changed my life and made me a better person. So yeah, I totally get this, and I just really wanted it to be special. I didn't want to just carve a likeness because I'm not really good at that. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I can carve the species, but as far as making likenesses like humans and things like that, there's way better people out there than me to do that, and I'm friends with a bunch of them actually. But a guy's got to try. A guy has got to try. If you don't try, you can only screw up once, right? Wrong. You screw up once, and then it's followed up by a series of other mistakes that will definitely lead you to a path where you are either enlightened or frustrated. Let's just put it like that. So yeah, and I'm establishing a line or two. So let's see what this guy has to say.
Yeah, that's better.
And we're back. Okay, so there's a couple ways I can make this flat. It's relatively flat from the saw, but there's a couple other ways I can do it. One is by using a hand planer or a power planer. I should come out with a Jeff Moore caveman carving technique. So that is what I call a sandbar. My son named it. It's basically a flat piece of wood, very flat, and it's got 50 grit on it, and it's got handles, obviously, and it works really good. I've got different sizes of them, and so what I like about it, it'll sand right down into the corners. You just fold the sandpaper right over the edge, so you can get a nice flat corner there. Also, when it comes to well, you'll see a little bit more. Making flats, like a lot of times I'll take that section, as you can see, it's pretty flat, man. That board does a fantastic job. I use it often. But as far as some of those, I'll just take out to my joiner and run it over my joiner. But a lot of times what happens is it'll, it's a little awkward. And maybe a little dangerous. But who cares? I laugh in the face of danger. Well, not really, but I definitely use that joiner sometimes. So as you can see, I'm gluing that up. Now there's an interesting little tidbit of information. So when I went to put that on there, there was a little bit of wood in the way, so I couldn't add the screws to the bottom. So I had to trim some of that wood off to catch that angle. And these are just things you're going to figure out over time. Also, here I'm not carving the tail right now, technically. All I'm doing is creating a notch so that I can get the right angle and I need to make the beam that I'm drilling into or screwing into the skinny wood. So you always go skinny wood into fat wood. In other words, the thin wood is the thing you want to have. You want to be drilling and screwing into the thin wood to tap into the heavier section, if that makes sense. Yeah, so there, I said it. Also, I'm carving underneath also. Yeah, that just doesn't sound right. Carving the groove for the collar. Now that I have an idea of what the thickness of the collar is, I called her and asked her, and yeah, so it worked out good. So now you can see where this makes me cringe because all I see is screw holes, and normally I would be so incredibly cautious making sure there's no screws in any of those holes, but I know I took them out or my wife did. Even if she does, I'll double check, because the last thing you want is to nail a screw with your saw. See what I did there? Boy, I am just like on the front line of awkward things to say. Yeah, I nailed a screw with my saw.
This piece over here, that no matter how flat you can make the two pieces, if you can't screw them together or clamp them together with that nice centering pressure that make a flat on flat contact. So here, Pam, bring your finger over here. So just go like this and point it at my hand. Okay, so if you put it right in the center, right, and push in, it goes flat straight in. But if you go up to the top and then angle it downward, it has a tendency of moving things down and also like opening things up on the bottom. You know what I'm saying? And so by the time you get that screw in and you get like 3 screws in and you can see it's still got a gap, that's what happened on that. And unfortunately, it happens. I mean, when you're laminating weird angles and it's tough. You gotta a lot of times what I'll do is I'll use a long lag, drill a hole or whatever. Use a lot, or just put a long, like the Spax. So these are what I normally use. These are T30s, I believe. So they got the bigger heads, and so basically, you get these in all different lengths and thicknesses. And if you get one about that long or this long, you can plow through it and really get it to seam up, and don't worry about your holes that these make. because they're easy to fix. However, big open cracks are not.
Base on some.
On some of the heavier duty things, I'll use these, or even these. And then I had a piece that I did, and I asked my buddy Jeremiah. I said, "Buddy, I've got no way to get in to the next piece. We had to come through about 1.5 feet of this one piece to get into the other piece to get the lamination right. So I had to make me up a bunch of these. Now these are my buddy Jeremiah's redneck special here. But I'll tell you what, I used them to join the Dancing Bears of Barrington, which is a really cool piece. You'll probably see it on my website, northwoodscarver.com. Anyway, so here's this is gonna be like the Star Destroyer, the beginning of Star Wars. Oh, there it is. There is an end to this story. Well, it doesn't fit in the frame. Oh, there it is. So yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So when you have oblong pieces and you need to get them put together, because there's no other way to do it, you have to do this. I know guys will drill a hole, they'll hollow out the carving, and they'll drill a hole on one end and then put one on the other end, and then they will have a big threaded rod, and then they'll put a stop on one end, basically a washer, and then that threaded rod will go completely through the entire carving. Say if you're doing a horse or something, or a bear or whatever, and then they have on the other end they have another big washer. You're talking 3/4 rod. I think this is, I don't know what this is, half maybe? Anyway, it's probably bigger.
Maybe.
Anyway, so you get that big locking, the big nut on the other side of that rod, and they get a ratchet or a impact, and they'll draw all those pieces together, and then there's a plug, and then. But wait, there's more. All right.
Yeah, we're making a little bit of progress here, so I want to make sure everything's nice and flat, and I just use a little triangle to do so, and it really helps gauge things so that you have some idea. If you look underneath the triangle, you can see if there's any gaps, and a little bit's not bad, but you don't want too much. And basically, I must have seen something. And there's my sandbar. That thing comes in real handy, folks. You should make yourself 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 like I got. Yeah, so we're just adding on this piece permanently at this point, twisting it into position, and getting the screws out, and oh, I'm sorry, the clamps. Make it look like Jed and clamp it. All right. On to the next, and this is after it's been dried, and after I pulled the screws. I did pull the screws. You would see some sparks and a very angry dude if I didn't. So yeah, making some man glitter there. So now we're getting into shaping, and I don't like to bite off more than I can chew, especially on a project like that. So this is a good look at what it would look like, or what it did look like after I did a little bit of progress.
I just got a call. Thank goodness they reminded me about my car's extended warranty. And they're kind enough to call every, I don't know, couple hours.
At the time of this video, I had nothing but robocalls about my car warranty or whatever, insurance. And now it's all about enrollment for healthcare every 10 minutes. I'm sure there's a fancy art word for it. That's your thumbprint. So your perception of things, even if you try to carve them perfectly, your thumbprints are all over that thing. It's always going to show. And you can get as close as possible, but you know, somewhere along the line, I've noticed this is when I'm trying to carve something realistic, like this for instance, there's always going to be a suggestion of this creative place that it dunked it in the creative pool, and it just all comes out a little different than the actual thing. And those weaknesses and strengths work together over years and years of practice to create your particular style. And that is what we're looking at. I pay attention to some things, and I just don't pay attention to other things. Ask my wife.
Back.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Come here. You gotta see this. This is a doll right here. Look at this little. She's wearing her cute little. She's wearing her cute little carving hand that I got her a long time ago.
They match.
I'm a little dirtier than you. And now for you being here, you're a little dirtier just for being next to me. This is life in a relationship. Okay.
I think that is your name.
Good. Really, cute.
Thanks.
What's you up to, Pam?
Stop laughing.
You can do it! I'll get it.
Oh my gosh! You know, I had seen her. She does that every day. It's this, and I laugh like that every day because it takes her at least 4 or 5 swats at it to get it. And right when she turned around, she was looking to go get her stool. That's what she turned around to do, you know. So she just admitted that to me. She's like, I was just gonna grab my stool and I was just gonna get up there and get it. Why do you put it so high? It's like, well, honey, it's my shop. I'm the one using it. So here we are, putting on, and by we, I mean actually we, me and my wife. My beautiful wife, Pam, who I love dearly, who's a huge help to me. She is awesome. And so we put 1 coat of poly on. This is an indoor piece, so then I'm just going to rattle can it black and start the dry brush technique. And I'm just going to put in a little bit of highlight. You'll see it coming in as we go. Have a, oh, that's a pretty cool idea too, by the way. If you guys do this, just get an old junky filter or whatever kind of filter and throw it in front of a box fan right in front of your or down, well, anywhere near you. It really helps. It helps with picking up a lot of that paint. You know, it's going to be junk after, but hey man, it keeps that stuff from floating around. We also have an evacuate, like a dust vac or whatever. Not a vac, but what do you call those things? Yeah, those things that get rid of unwanted fumes and dust and smoke or whatever. An exhaust fan, yeah. So, getting a little closer on the coloration. It still doesn't look quite right, so I've got a lot of depth to put in, and going over and re-going over the steps that I just did several times just to get it, you know, try to find the right colors, because I'm here to tell you that the pictures she sent, they were of him or her when she was younger, then someone when she was older, where she was heavier, and her coat color was different. One was more reddish brown, one was, it could have been the photo, it could have been the exposure, I don't know, but it just, I couldn't make up my mind. So I just went with the more richer color, with more like a orangey, yellowish kind of. I sent her pictures and she said that's close, that's good enough. And I was like, perfect. So he really starts to take shape, or she really starts to take shape once I start putting in some depth. And my intention during this whole paint job was to create something that looked like a painting, or like a pen and ink of some sort, or maybe a combination of both. Like something that would be on canvas that would kind of resemble that. You can kind of see it, like there's the actual dog in the background. And yeah, I didn't want it to be refined. I really did not want a refined piece. I wanted it to be very obvious that it was carved with, you know, chainsaws, and you can see all the marks that it made. So I mean, it, as you can see, the coloration, I richened it up and put a little bit more white up front and the nose, and it was an older dog. Some of them are a little washed out, but you can see that's the floor that I created. I had it setting on the floor. Looked really nice on there, but they didn't want that. You can see it right there. That was just a piece that I laminated up as like a show, as like the base for the dog. And I thought it was really cool, but they didn't. They only have so much space, so that base was not going to work. Yeah, looked like it was kind of on a hardwood floor or something. What a face. Like I say, I'm not a dog carver per se, but you can use the methods that I use when you carve just about anything, you know, and get pretty close to the mark. Well, I think it's going to be a wrap, everyone. Enjoy these last few pictures, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And thanks for watching, everyone.